What are some of the do's and don'ts of prepping your home for a sale? Do you want to use these upgrades to actually increase the value? Or are you really just looking to increase its marketability, which in turn will help increase the value that you're getting out of that home? In a hot seller's market like this, what are some of the things you might be able to get away with? Welcome to Jerome in Real Estate, your local realtor here in the Fountain and Colorado Springs area. Let's get into it. Hey, before we get too deep into the video, if you like the content and you have been coming here, please don't forget to like this video so other people can find it, and then hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the weekly content that I'm putting out. So although upgrades never add back enough to recoup their full value during a sale, here are some of the items that you might want to take a look at just in case you're looking at doing some upgrades or some additions. Okay, so the first thing is your energy efficient windows. This is something that is, I think of more a marketing aspect. Most buyers that will walk into a home will have zero clue whether or not the windows are energy efficient or not. But definitely you can use it to your advantage if they are, and market them as such. That way it brings the buyer's attention to it immediately. The next thing is new kitchen appliances. Now, appliances are something that buyers obviously expect will be in the kitchen. So this is really going to depend on the type of home, the type of neighborhood, what type of finishings and appliances buyers would expect in that particular area in that house. Okay, so don't just run out and go buy a bunch of appliances. The next thing is remodeled bathrooms. Bathrooms are normally a pretty big thing. If you're gonna upgrade, then you do want to think about remodeling those bathrooms or upgrading them. Next thing would be the quality flooring. If you've got bad carpet in there, old, dirty, nasty carpet, it's time to think about changing those out. Not only will that help the value, it'll help the marketability, right? To make sure that your buyers walk in and they're immediately stunned. Some of the things some people don't really think about are decks and patios. You could, upgrade them, you could extend it, or if you don't have one at all, you could add one, okay? Garages, same thing. If you don't have a garage and in the neighborhood it might be a good fit to put a garage, add a garage or some type of additional structure that can, help with parking. If you already have a garage, inside of that garage, you might want to think about, what type of flooring is in there, what type of storage you may want to add or take away if it's too custom. And we'll get to that in a minute. And then one of the big things that people need to think about are basements. If you do not have a finished basement, finishing that basement could be something that adds a nice amount of value. Like once again, I will state though that the amount of money that you're going to put in upgrading, you'll never get back during the sale of your home. That's not how this works, right? And each home and each situation is going to be different. So it's important that you actually sit down with somebody that can walk through with you and help you figure out if you actually want to make these upgrades or just, minor tweaks. Now let's move on to some upgrades that may not help that much in value, okay? And when you're thinking about these items, you want to think about things that are personal touches or very custom that were put there mainly for your own enjoyment, right? So the first thing that I want to talk about is, custom interior paint. All right, let's say you've got a few rooms in there that you really wanted to customize, and one of them is purple, the other one is a hot pink or something like that. Very non-standard colors that suited you and your lifestyle for your family. But overall, in the grand scheme of things, normal buyers aren't going to walk in there and expect that type of pop. That's something that might detract from the value. Okay. Something else that's very custom, the landscaping outside. Okay. You don't want to have everything cut up into a maze just because it's cool and then think, oh man, I put all this work into building this maze out of the bushes in my front yard, and now I expect people to pay extra for it. That's not how this works. Heading back a little bit to what I said before, inconsistent high-end upgrades, and you can apply this to high-end appliances in your kitchen, right? You can apply it to any room in the house, obviously, but that's normally what people are going to think about when they think of high-end upgrades. You want your upgrades to match the property and also the rest of the neighborhood. Okay, just because you walk into your house and everything's extremely expensive doesn't necessarily mean that's a good thing. Okay, every individual is going to be different in this, but that's generally something you want to stay away from. Swimming pools. Look, this could be good or bad. Here in Colorado Springs, I mean, really, the question you just need to ask yourself is, how many swimming pools do you actually see in this area? Okay. If the answer is not very many, then you putting in a swimming pool may not help that much. Okay. That's really the way you need to think about it. It all depends on your very specific neighborhood and your area. Another thing that a lot of people believe will immediately help without even truly thinking through it, it may or it may not, but think about solar panels, all right? Solar panels, there is a great chance to market that, okay? But also, you've got to remember, just like with swimming pools, you are bringing in now an extra service and maintenance cost to buyers, whereas the normal house they might find in the neighborhood may not have that cost at all. So that's something that they are going to now need to think about, is that, yeah, I've got solar panels, but now I've got to worry about the serviceability. What type of issues that attracts. I've got to now think about the maintenance of it. What if it cracks? There's a lot of hail in Colorado Springs and in Fountain. How does that affect the longevity of these solar panels? There's a whole list of things now that a buyer has to think about. So like I said, it may or it may not help. And then, the next thing is your standard maintenance things. If there's nothing wrong with the roof on the house, don't go replacing it, okay? That's just something standard that's supposed to be on the house. It's supposed to be good and in good service condition. So if it already is at that standard, why would you rip it off and go put on all new shingles? Okay. The one reason you would want to do that is if it is in bad shape, and an inspector would come through and say, hey, look, this has got to go. All right. Completely replacing your HVAC system is the same thing. If there's no issue with it and you can prove that it's doing well, there's no reason truly to upgrade it. Okay. New siding, new carpet for no reason if it's not battered down or stained and all that. Okay, no reason to replace those things. You do also see a lot of people trying to replace, repave their driveways. Once again, no real reason to do it. And since those are all just standard maintenance things, they should be kept up well. That's something throughout the years of you holding the home, you should just be, doing your normal service things to those types of items that I was talking about. Okay. Now I want to talk about some of the things you can especially do for your home on the interior, especially when you are getting it ready to be marketed by a professional. Okay. So first and foremost, and I believe this wholeheartedly, you should clean every single room very, very deeply. And you're going to want to hire a professional cleaning service to do this. If you're not able to remove everything and then put it back and stage, then you want to declutter the home as much as possible. Go through every single room and make sure that it doesn't look like it is cluttered and filled with a whole bunch of stuff. You want buyers to be able to imagine themselves there and not have to think about the extra stuff that's in the home. All right. So definitely hiring a cleaning professional and decluttering. Sometimes, you know, some light staging may help, and then depending on you know, what neighborhood you're in, what type of home you're in, and how you want to market, a stager might actually come in handy as well. Also, along with this, removing personal items, especially personal photos, taking those things off the wall, making sure that your personal items are actually secured. Okay, that is a huge deal, a big step. More on the service and maintenance side, you're definitely going to want to look throughout your home now and look for the holes that you need to patch. All right, make sure that you're resurfacing or lightly painting any walls that need it. And you're not going to go for shocking types of paint shades. You're going to go for neutral shades of paint. All right, your off-whites, your light grays, your beiges, stuff like that. All right. Anything that has damage to it, head down to the basement or the attic and you know, check for signs of dampness, repair any holes, go through the entire home and look at the windows, look for cracked window panes and things like that. All right, anything in the woodwork that is really, you know, badly chipped or something like that, you may want to try and get some of those things corrected. Okay. All right, those were my tips for preparing your home for a sale. What may or may not increase the value, how to help yourself market a little bit. So if you do like these tips, if you like the video and you like the content I've got on my channel, go ahead and give this video a like and also subscribe. We'll see you next time.